Hi, this is David Colby, CEO of Colby Corp. Thanks for joining me today on a webinar where we're going to talk about a lot of new products and features that we've recently added here at Colby Corp. As I said, lots of exciting things. We're going to talk about changes and upgrades that we've made to the Colby A index result. We're going to talk about changes and updates that we've made to RightFit, also Core Pro software, and some new team tactics reports that are available for you for the first time ever. So with that, let me start right in on the Colby A index. We've redesigned the Colby A index results so that we can better connect with people who are learning about their cognitive strengths for the first time. So we really wanted to look at the result with the eye of a new user and think, what can we do to reorganize and redisplay the content? So as you look at the new results that are there on your screen, you can see that we've really simplified things. We've focused on the most important information that the new user needs to see when they very first view their result. We've displayed that in a more logical order, and the navigation that you see on the left-hand side of the screen shows the person where they are, where they're going to go. It's also interesting to note, I think important to note, that in that navigation, there are parts that they can't get to because we really do want people to understand their result better and have it stick with them better. The first time they go through it, they have to walk through the beginning parts, especially of the result, in a prescribed order so that they get a full understanding of their strengths in Fact Finder, Follow Through, Quick Start, and Implementer. They can always go back, review the information that they've already seen if there's something that they don't understand really well, and they can dive deeper on some of these areas and get more information on each of the action modes so that they're really comfortable with what it means before they move forward. But they need to review all of that information before they can move on to the next section so that they don't jump around in the result too early and get confused. As users go through the information, each area that they see then becomes easy to navigate and opens up. So again, on the left-hand side navigation, those different navigation points turn from gray to blue as they're able to navigate them. In addition to reorganizing and redisplaying content, we've also changed what people see. So you'll see on the page that has what we've always called the 12 strengths of your cognitive results. That incorporates new language that Kathy Colby recently developed and introduced. So the new result has the new language. If you haven't already signed on to Kathy Colby's webinar where she explains what that new language is, how she came up with it, why it's so important. She also has written a new book that we sell here through Colby, Striving Zones, which is a great resource that has all of the new language. So I'd really encourage you to buy that. It's, as I said, a great resource that you can use, kind of a one-stop shop for all of the language, not just for your own result, but for everybody's Colby Index results. Another thing that we've done with the new Colby Index results, in addition to the content that we've changed around, we've also made the results work better with today's technology. So let's start with hardware. People are not just looking at results on a desktop computer monitor. They're looking at their results on tablets and cell phones. So we've changed the software so that it handles these different hardware changes that are there. Easily navigates between different screen sizes and still is very readable and approachable for people. Other software changes that are out there, for instance, we have better audio and streaming with the audio, and it's also presented in a more user-friendly format. And there's no flash with these results. So users who want to see their results on Apple devices, which didn't support flash software, it's fully compatible with those Apple devices. So that's a big improvement for a lot of users who are getting frustrated with, I saw it, but now I can't look at it on my iPhone. So that's different. Another change that we've made in the result is we really went out of our way to highlight Colby tips. So where there's information in the result that gives people tips, or conables, as many of you know the language, is it gives them conables to understand how to use their results in their everyday life. So it's not just here are your strengths, but here's what you can do with that information to improve the things that you're working on. So really, I think when you look at the new results as a whole, what you'll see is that they're much more user-friendly. They display better on all kinds of different platforms. Again, both software and hardware changes are incorporated there. But most importantly, the information that's presented is presented in a way that's more clear. It's broken up into more logical sections so that people can get a little bit at a time without being overwhelmed, and give them better navigation, better ways to jump between the information. Look in the future for additional changes that we're going to make that will work on people who've already seen their Colby A index results and how they might want to interact with their results that are different than first-time users. So that's the quick wrap-up of the new Colby A index results. So the next thing that I want to talk about are the changes and updates that we've made to RightFit. So we've changed both candidate reports and the range of success report itself. And again, these changes are also going to make it more approachable, more user-friendly. The same information that was there before is still there, but we've just presented it a little bit differently, and it's going to be better both for the expert Colby user, the Colby certified consultant, but also for people you work with who aren't Colby experts but are using this information when they're doing hiring. So the first changes that I want to talk about are with the range of success reports. What we've done is we've reorganized and rewritten them a little bit to make the information more relevant, especially here for the people who aren't Colby experts. We've kept the information and the analysis that helps Colby certified consultants, but we've made it so that these reports are more user-friendly for people who are maybe seeing this for the first time, or they're responsible for filling a particular job, but they are not the Colby experts in their organization. So these reports will really make more sense to them, and I think that in the end that's going to make those people a lot more interested in using the reports and using Colby in the selection process. So the first thing that we've done to change these reports is we've made the language more concise, and we've changed it to focus really on what's important. So you'll get a one-page summary that gives you everything you really have to know about the way the range was built and what the results are. It has a little bit of explanation also, again, for people who aren't Colby experts who might want to know a little bit more about what this means and how to interpret it. So you can really use it as a leave-behind piece for people who are involved in the hiring process but are not the Colby experts. It still has the information that Colby experts want to see as well. It just focuses and reorients the reader to see what's really important here. So if there's a question about, oh, who was used to help build this range, what other Colby indexes, you know, A indexes and C indexes, how are those used in here, that will show up on the report. The first page there is the summary that has all the key information, and then following pages have more detail, action mode by action mode. So detail about what that range is in Fact Finder and follow through will appear on that first page, with additional language describing the strengths that will work well in the job that the range analyzes. They're really a great way to make sure that the analysis is on the right track and you're ready to use the range. As you look at the language that's on these subsequent pages and it just doesn't make sense to you or to somebody you're working with, you know to stop the process right there, figure out, did something go wrong? Do we need to include other people in the analysis so that we can build a better, more appropriate range? This information will really help with that. And the language here is a bit different than the way it has been in the RightFit or the range of success reports in the past. It focuses on the positives for what the job requires, for describing the strengths that somebody will bring to the table that will work well in this range. The next report that we've changed are the candidate reports. So the range of success report looks at the job itself and talks about what that job demands in somebody who's in the position. The candidate reports focus on the candidates themselves and how they will fit in that role. So the first one is the summary page, and that shows all of the candidates that you're looking for, or as many as you want to look at any given time. It gives the summary of who are they, what's their MO, what grade have they been given when we've compared them against the range, and then if you include it, how do they affect the synergy on a team that they will be working with in the company. It also shows the quick summary of the bar chart for the range of success that you've developed for the role. And importantly, it includes language here that explains a little bit. Again, not tons. This is not meant to be a comprehensive tutorial on what all of this means, but it shows what's important so that a user can look at this candidate summary report and understand how to interpret it, even if they're not a Colby expert. Better to work with an expert who can go in depth with all of it, but it has everything that you need to know here in the one snapshot for all of the candidates that you're looking at. The more detailed reports, candidate by candidate, have been revised a little bit so that you can, again, see everything you need to at the top of the page. It shows you who the candidate is, their letter grade, their individual results, and the range you're comparing against. And then the language that's included has been rewritten to describe how that candidate's strengths will fit into the job that you're filling. It's a great short summary of the person, how they're going to do, and importantly, kind of why they will do either well or not so well in that role, so that you can get an understanding of how that person's strengths will fit, and where they might be outside of what would be perfect. If they're good enough, you still understand, okay, well, we might need to get some help for them in this area, or we might need to redesign the job a little bit to make them more effective in that area. So that's the quick overview of the RightFit reports. Along with the new reports that we've made available in RightFit, we've been doing more work to help you with hiring and selection. This time we've created a brand new product, something we call the Dynamine interview. It's going to help you figure out, when you're interviewing people, who are the people who will really take their strengths in all three parts of the mind, not just the cognitive part of the mind, but in all three parts of the mind, who's going to use their strengths on the job so that they can be the most effective employee. So the Dynamine interview gives you a bunch of materials and tools and a process to help you through that challenge of figuring out, when you're interviewing potential new hires, who will really use their strengths on the job. So what it does is it helps you understand and get at what they've done with their strengths in the past, because what we've seen is that by understanding how a person uses their strengths on the job in the past, you can get a good indication of whether or not they will use those strengths in the future on their job. So this is a little different than RightFit. RightFit looks at whether a person's cognitive strengths, whether their instinctive strengths are a good fit for a job. But RightFit doesn't tell you whether that person is likely to use those strengths on the job. That's what the Dynamine interview process does. It gives you the process to help you through that. It gives you suggested interview questions that get at all of the different levels of the Dynamine. So since you're probably not the world's foremost expert in the Dynamine, quick recap there is you start at level 1 and you work up to 5. Frankly, you'd like to get people operating at a high level, levels 4 and 5 most of the time. But the Dynamine interview process gives you specific questions that you can use to understand where somebody is on that Dynamine, again, in all three parts of the mind. It also gives you a checklist to help you keep track of where you are in the process with every individual candidate. It's a brand new product. It's something that I'm sure will be very useful, particularly if you use RightFit. But even if you haven't used Colby in selection in the past, the Dynamine interview process is a great addition to whatever you do when you're conducting interviews. So now I'm going to hand it over to James Trujillo, our Vice President of Technology and Development. He's going to talk to you about some of the improvements and updates that we've done in our software, namely the Core Pro software, and also some stuff that we've added to Team Tactics. So James, take it away.
Thanks, David. I'm here to share some information with you with regards to new Colby Core Pro enhancements. They revolve around really two key features within the Pro software. First of all, we have the credit allocator, And second, we have a collection of new reports. It's a kind of exciting new realm for us, kind of giving us a different way of mining the data, a little bit easier way for you to access information. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about the credit allocator and those enhancements that we're making that are really about continuing that process of evolving that software really to meet your day-to-day needs. The allocator enhancements range from resending allocations from the core dashboard, retaking template and being able to modify that template for the resends, adding additional notification email addresses, allocation of Colby A in a specific language, scheduling allocations, as well as allocating without truly sending the email. For those of you who'd like to go ahead and grab the content directly out of the allocation and then send it through your own email protocols or clients. The new snapshot reports is just that. It's a quick snapshot of what's in your account today. The snapshot reports in Colby Core Pro allow you to see your data in a clean and concise way. Say, for instance, when you're looking at your people and you want to be able to see them in a snapshot view. The Cognitive Snapshot Report provides just that, a spreadsheet view of people you have selected and their Colby MO. It's very similar to our Spreadsheet Strengths Report if you're familiar with it, but it actually provides less information and really just the basics of it. What's the Colby A and that individual? You can easily select these people throughout the new interface that allow you to actually build these particular groups on the fly. Want to see the balance and distribution of the cognitive strengths? We have also included a Colby A distribution report, along with the new Colby A detail report. This gives you a tangible view of that balance that we so talk about throughout our theories and consultations. Traditional distribution report basically is all about the percentages, modes, and zones. The distribution detail report, which is fairly new, somewhat similar to another report that we have in Team Tactics, but extremely new with regards to the names that are put in each mode zone tank. It gives you a quick way to look at who that individual is and where they fall within different parts of the Colby A. These new snapshot reports will save you time when reviewing and discussing how to leverage and empower the natural strengths within your organization. Within the Colby Core Pro software, you're able to facilitate and create the snapshot reports, utilizing a quick search function via name or organizational structure. This allows you to add and to remove people from a collection of group or collection or group in which you'd like to see in that report. And for those Team Tactics licensees, the snapshot reports also allow for the user within Core Pro to be able to work with the teams new and existing. So if I want to pull up an existing team and add a new member, I can do so through Core Pro now rather than going through Team Tactics. This is a great improvement for those licensees of Team Tactics. If you have those additional options, working within the teams is going to speed it up dramatically. Then, when you're able to go ahead and save the team, you can always come back to it and pull it up for future reports. And it will also show cloning, polarization, synergy flags within the Colby A distribution report, which is very much the same report that you get in the productivity chart within the Team Tactics reports. The Colby A distribution detail report has also been included in the Team Tactics. We also refer to this report as the new member distribution detail report, and it will appear wherever the productivity chart appears within the Team Tactics reports. Keep in mind, these new reports don't replace the in-depth analysis and detail of the reports that we have within Team Tactics. These snapshot reports are simply that, a snapshot of the tip of the iceberg. You should take a look at them today in Colby Core Pro. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at colbycare@colby.com or call us at 602-840-9770, extension 3.